Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Brenna, the Director of Education here at Test Innovators, and our webinar today is talking about everything that you need to know about the Character Skills Snapshot. This webinar is being recorded throughout. Feel free to type any questions that you have in the comments, and then with time at the end of the presentation, I'll answer all of those questions, and any that I don't get to, we'll review after the webinar and respond. So what is the snapshot? Big picture. The snapshot is a tool that's designed to measure non-cognitive abilities and is created by the Enrollment Management Association, and that's the same company that creates the SSAT, which is a test that you may also be familiar with as part of your application process this year. So it's a snapshot. It's taken by students in grades 6 through 12 as part of the independent school admissions process. And along with the recording after this webinar, I'll also send along a list of schools that are using the snapshot this year. And an important thing to remember about that is that they're using it. It is not a requirement. And also related to big picture things about the snapshot, it was named the snapshot in order to recognize that character skills are something that change over time. And this is just a snapshot of your child's current character skills. Something to bear in mind as you think about this. So why was the snapshot created? It was actually in response to schools and parents asking for a measure of non-cognitive abilities. While you had all of these tests like the SSAT or potentially the ISEE, the HSBT, whichever test you may currently be experiencing as part of your admissions process, there wasn't any standardized measure that measured non-cognitive abilities. These non-cognitive abilities are important, and schools are looking for them because they're linked to academic success and work-life success, and also contribute to much of what schools' mission statements are often looking for. Additionally, adding this extra layer of greater complexity ideally helps to promote equity and access to these schools. In creating the Character Skills Snapshot, the Enrollment Management Association did a lot of testing. So there are about 50 cognitive labs, 40 user experience tests, 15 focus groups, and 12,000 pilot tests, in addition to being reviewed by many different people, such as the ETS Fairness and Sensitivity, in order to make sure that it was a fair test, and also a technical advisory group that reviewed all of the questions or items on the snapshot to make sure that it was a good measurement tool. The Character Skills Snapshot measures 8 different skills, which are intellectual curiosity. Each of these has a bit of a definition, which is what they're using. So that's a student's interest in and enjoyment of activities that require complex thought. There's teamwork, students' ability to navigate social interactions and engage in supportive behaviors. Initiative, which is a student's ability to take charge of a situation and initiate action without prompting. Resilience, capacity to function effectively despite encountered difficulties. Responsibility, which is essentially accountability for your behavior. Open-mindedness, what's your willingness to try new things, be receptive to new ideas. And self-control, which is a student's ability to control thoughts, emotions, and actions. And last of all, social awareness, ability to identify context-appropriate behaviors. So these are the 8 things that the Character Skills Snapshot is designed to measure. How does it test for those things? So this snapshot is divided into 2 sections. There are forced choice questions, 19 of them, and then 10 situational judgment items. And so let's take a look at some examples of each of those so you know what to expect, what these are going to look like. So for the first forced choice, students will be asked, please select one statement that describes you most accurately and one statement that describes you least accurately. And then they'll have 3 things. I enjoy difficult tasks, I easily adapt when plans change, and it is difficult for me to concentrate when I am stressed. So a student would pick one that seems most accurate and one that seems least accurate. And of course, together, all of these forced choice answers that the students give should create a comprehensive picture of where the student is right now in terms of these character skills. For the situational judgment examples, these will give a situation. So here we have, your teacher has asked you to be the group leader for a team of 10 students on a big after-school project in the school gym. 2 students have come to you complaining that one of the students has a habit of talking loudly on his cell phone while the group is working on the project. This happens so often that they feel it is interfering with their ability to get the project done. Please rate the appropriateness of each statement from 1, not appropriate at all, to 4, very appropriate. And you may assign the same rating to more than one response. So of course a student could say, both of these are not appropriate at all, or both of these are very appropriate responses. And then we have some reactions that we could have to this situation. Introduce a policy banning cell phone use while working on the team project. It is best to have a single standard for everyone. Move the phone-using student to an area of the gym where no one will hear him. The fewer people that are bothered, the better. Hang signs in the hallways reminding students to keep their voices down. Anonymous reminders avoid singling out any one person. And approach the student privately and ask him to keep his voice down. He may not realize that his behavior bothers people. So a student would read each of these and think about how they would react to the situation, or which of these reactions seems like an appropriate reaction. When will students be taking the snapshot? Just once every academic year. So unlike the SSAT, for instance, which you can take once each month on specific testing dates, the snapshot can only be taken once, and it can be taken whenever you would like. So it's available on demand, it's online, so the only important thing is that you have to have access to the internet. Before a student can take it, you'll have to provide parental consent, and then both the parent and the child will sign an integrity statement, and that will be done prior to taking the snapshot. And the reason for that is that research has shown that if you sign a statement saying that you will take a test honestly beforehand, you're much more likely to be honest about taking it. The snapshot has to be taken in one sitting, so you can't leave and come back to it, but it shouldn't take too long. It's untimed, but usually students finish in about 20 to 30 minutes. The only other restriction on this is that it can't be administered at schools, but it can be anywhere else with internet access. So whether that's at home, at the library, some other comfortable place. Taking the snapshot, there's a $25 fee. However, if you already registered for the SSAT, it will be free to take the snapshot, and there are fee waivers available, and you can check out SSAT's website to find out more about that. Anyone who takes the test up until December 10th will get their results by mid-December, so December 15th. If you take it after that, so later in December into January, you'll receive the results about 2 weeks after taking the snapshot. And you can send those results to as many schools as you would like. Again, I'll send over a list of the schools that are using the snapshot this year, which you can reference. And then in terms of using what these results look like after taking the snapshot, as soon as the results come out, they'll be available on the student's SSAT account, so you'll just log in and be able to see what those are. So what do the results look like? The snapshot results measure to what degree a student is exhibiting each of the skills that I listed previously, so each of those 8 character skills. And it's categorized as either emerging, which is that you are starting to show signs of that skill, developing, the skill is present and still developing, or demonstrating, that the student has a clear understanding and use of this skill. And these measurements are all based on your norm group. And the norm groups for the snapshot are divided by age. So there are students who are applying to grades 6 through 8 are one subset, and then students applying to grades 9 through 12. So essentially middle school and high school are broken apart, and they're also divided by gender. So there are 4 different norm groups, and you're compared against others in that group. The natural next question is, how is the snapshot going to be used? It's really important. Schools are all required to sign a fair use statement, essentially saying that they won't use the snapshot in a way it was not designed to be used. And the way the snapshot was designed to be used is as a standardized measurement of character. So schools have been measuring to some extent character skills as long as forever in the admissions process, but in different ways. So with interviews, with essays, letters of recommendation, all of those things are in many ways attempting to get at character skills, but they're not standard. So it can vary exactly how someone runs an interview and how you gauge how successful the interview was from person to person, day to day, student to student. So this is designed to be a standardized measurement of character, but not a standalone measure. So it's designed to complement the other parts of the application, all of those things that still exist as part of the admissions process, the interviews, essays, letters of recommendation, report cards, all of that is still going to be there, and the snapshot will just be used to complement that. Again, very important, not a standalone measure. So what are our recommendations about what you should think about going into taking the snapshot? Know what to expect. You've already done the right first step by being here and learning about what the snapshot will be. It's also good for students to know what to expect so that when they go in to sit down, they know what the experience will be like, what kinds of questions they'll be asked, and what the purpose of the snapshot is. Another really good idea is to take the snapshot on a good day. So sometimes you're in a grumpy mood, it's not the best day, something happened at school that wasn't awesome. That's not the best day to take the snapshot. It's always good to have your best face on, and since you can take the snapshot whatever time or day you like, it's a good idea to just fit it in when you're in a good mood. And then if you have any specific questions about schools that you're applying to, how they're using it, what they're looking for, anything about that school's specific use, I highly recommend that you reach out to them and talk to them specifically about the snapshot and what their use of the snapshot in the admissions application process will be. And with that, that is all the important information you need to know about the snapshot. And feel free to type any questions you have into the comments, and I'll answer any of those that come in. And while I'm waiting to see if any of those come in, if you have any other additional questions, whether right now or later, feel free to contact either me at my email here, brenna@testinnovators.com, or our support team by email or phone. And I'm not seeing any questions, so thank you again for joining. Good luck in the application process. I hope it goes well, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions at any point. Have a great rest of your day.